In order to get the most benefit out of Instagram for your business as possible, it helps to understand the culture of Instagram and what differentiates it from other social networks. It's an understanding that a lot of the big brands on Instagram have perfected, and it's reflected in the content that they share. So let's take a closer look. The top 10 brands on Instagram have tens of millions of followers and hashtag mentions between them. Brands like Nike, Starbucks, and Adidas consistently rank at the top of the Instagram analytics charts by Nitrogram, and you can see this chart here. And apart from the fact that they were already huge brands before Instagram launched, their continued success on the platform comes from knowing the mentality and culture of Instagram users, the types of people who typify the platform, and mirror this in their own content. So let's look at some examples. Starbucks is one of the biggest brands on Instagram, and in all of its content, it expertly and consistently reflects Instagram's creative, earthy, arty culture, and it targets young and upwardly mobile customers in its photos. As you can see from the photos on this page, the majority of them weren't photos that were just taken off the cuff. It's noticeable that quite a lot of time has been taken to compose the shots, adjust the lighting, and make the photos as nice as they can be with editing before the photo is published to Instagram. Like millions of users on Instagram, Starbucks takes the time to post photos that it is proud of. Photos that its fans, photos that don't just promote the brand, but are also aesthetically impressive and pleasing to the eye. If this is the kind of attitude that lots of Instagram users have, Starbucks is very clever to emulate it. Now, I'm not saying that this approach will work for every type of brand that is on Instagram. I'm sure there's an audience for almost any brand on the platform, but in general terms, it's these types of audiences that the biggest brands on Instagram tend to focus on. In research by Pew Internet, they found that in households earning over $75,000, these people and their peers were the types who were most likely to use Instagram. And away from reflecting the mentality and values of many Instagram users, Starbucks also picks photos from its fans to repost on its own Instagram account. So in this example, you can see that this user had posted this photo of his Starbucks drink with a Christmas tree background, and Starbucks reached out to him to see if they could use it as their Facebook cover image. And of course, he was overjoyed and said yes. And in another example, they reposted a photo of one of their drinks from a different user. And this is something that Starbucks does from time to time, now and again. And as well as that creative, earthy, arty side to Instagram users, it also appeals to their vanity. Of course, people don't like to admit that they're vain, but if there's anything that Instagram and other social media has taught us, it's that consciously or not, people love to post content that is going to be popular and shared a lot with others. So you can imagine how these people felt when a big brand like Starbucks shared their content. And in addition, using Starbucks as another example, it taps into the popularity of some of the biggest names on Instagram to bolster its own content. So in this example, this user called Color Me Creative, who at the time had almost 1 million followers on Instagram, decorated this Starbucks coffee cup and asked her fans to let Starbucks know about it and see if they would repost it. And of course, Starbucks did repost it, as well as tagging the users in it. This is the Color Me Creative account, and this is her personal account. And you can imagine the goodwill that rubbed off on the artist and all of the artist fans and the fans of Starbucks. Starbucks, despite being a multinational, massive company, positions itself as just one of the gang. one of the ordinary Instagram users posting interesting, arty, and creative photos. And of course, after all of this, a couple of months later down the line, the same user, Color Me Creative, posted another Starbucks cup artwork. And so the cycle continues. And to help you understand the types of photos that get posted to Instagram compared to other social networks and really hammer that point home, take a look at this post from Nike Women that was published on Instagram, and it advertises these new kaleidoscopic tights. And here is the same post advertising the same tights on Facebook and Twitter. And last up, it's the same tights, but this time on Pinterest. You can see that the Instagram one is kind of arty, got this two-tone color between the wall and the pavement, and it's composed in a nice arty way with these straight lines. The Facebook one and the Twitter one are different shots that work better on those networks, nice and colorful, that will catch people's eyes in the newsfeed, and in this portrait style, which suits Facebook's newsfeed. The Twitter one, horizontal, so it fits the Twitter newsfeed better, and Pinterest especially, a site where click-throughs are massive business. It has this more mood-boardy, simple white background, advertising a product that people can click through to buy kind of style to it. And Nike especially does this a lot. You can see the conscious effort that they've made between this post for the same product as this, and this. So as I mentioned, Instagram has broadly a different kind of vibe to other social networks, and it's a good idea to research the kind of photos taken by the top brands on Instagram in your field of business to see the type of content that they're sharing, and try to reflect this culture in your own photos. Once again, it's not going to totally suit every type of business, but broadly, this is the culture of Instagram.